Her voice was the soul of the valley, and his heart beat to her song. In the sun-drenched expanse of Sundance Valley, where golden wheat swayed like a gentle sea, lived a girl named Elara. She wasn't born of the valley's soil, but her voice was its very soul. Every morning, as the sun kissed the mountaintops, Elara would sing. Her melodies carried on the breeze were a balm to weary hearts and a promise of a new day. She sang of the river's journey, the secrets of the ancient oaks, and the dreams of the stars. The townsfolk would pause their work, a smile touching their lips as her voice wove itself into the fabric of their lives. For them, Elara's song was as vital as the sun and the rain. But there was one who heard more than just beautiful music. Cale, a young blacksmith, his hands strong and calloused from shaping metal, found his own rhythm in her melodies. While others heard a song for the valley, Cale heard a song just for him. His hammer would strike the anvil in perfect time with her distant refrains, forging not just tools and horseshoes, but a silent connection to the girl he'd never spoken to. Her voice was the gentle fire that soothed the forge's blaze in his heart. He'd watch her from afar, a silhouette against the rising sun, a mystery wrapped in a melody. One scorching summer, a blight fell upon the valley. The wheat withered, the river thinned to a whisper, and a heavy silence replaced the usual hum of life. Despair, a weed they couldn't uproot, began to choke the community. And for the first time, Elara's songs faltered. Her voice, once a powerful current, became a fragile stream, filled with the sorrow that now blanketed the valley. Seeing the hope drain from her face, and hearing the tremor in her voice, broke something in Cale. The silence in the valley was deafening, but the silence from Elara was unbearable. He knew he couldn't bring the rain or heal the crops, but he couldn't stand by and watch the valley's soul fade away. That evening, as dusk painted the sky in shades of purple and gray, Cale left his forge. He walked through the quiet town, his footsteps echoing a nervous rhythm, until he reached the small hill where Elara often sat. She was there, huddled against an old oak, her face buried in her hands. The silence around them was heavy, broken only by the chirping of a lone cricket. Cale's heart pounded against his ribs. He wasn't a man of many words. His language was fire and steel. But for her, he had to find a voice. He cleared his throat, the sound rough in the still air. "Your song," he began, his voice softer than he intended. "The valley misses it. I miss it." Elara looked up, her eyes wide with surprise and clouded with sadness. "How can I sing of joy when there is none left?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "My songs feel like lies now." Cale knelt beside her, his gaze earnest. "They were never lies," he said firmly. "Your songs, they weren't just about the good times. They were about strength, about the roots of these oaks that hold on even when the leaves fall. Your voice is the valley's heartbeat. Even a faint beat is better than silence. It reminds us we're still alive, that we can still fight." He hesitated, then added, "It reminds me." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, intricately forged iron bird. Its wings were outstretched, as if in mid— "I made this for you," he said, placing it in her palm. "I'd hear your music from my forge, and my hammer would just follow along. You were the melody, and I was just trying to keep the rhythm." Elara stared at the little bird, its cool weight a solid, tangible thing in her hand. It was beautiful, a perfect, frozen moment of song. She looked from the bird to Cale's face, illuminated by the rising moon. She saw the soot on his brow, the strength in his hands, and a vulnerability in his eyes that mirrored her own. In that moment, she understood. Her song wasn't just for the sunny days. It was for the seasons of drought, too. It was a promise, a prayer, a thread of hope. Taking a deep, shaky breath, Elara began to sing. It wasn't a song of bountiful harvests or joyful celebrations. It was a quiet, mournful tune, a lament for what they had lost. But woven within the sorrow was a new thread note of resilience, of steadfast courage. It was the sound of an iron bird taking flight. Cale didn't move. He just listened, his heart finding its familiar rhythm once more. As her voice grew stronger, carrying across the silent fields. Something miraculous happened. One by one, lights began to appear in the windows of the town below. People emerged from their homes, drawn by the familiar, yet different, melody. They gathered at the foot of the hill, their faces upturned, listening. They weren't just listening to a song. They were listening to their own hope being sung back to them. The blight didn't vanish overnight, and the rains didn't immediately come. But the despair that had gripped Sundance Valley began to recede. Alera's new songs, forged in sorrow and strengthened by connection, gave them the will to endure. They worked together, sharing what little they had, their spirits lifted by the melodies that once again filled the air. And Cale was no longer just a listener from afar. He was always there, by her side, his quiet strength a steady harmony to her soaring voice. He learned that while her voice was the soul of the valley, love was its heartbeat. And together their song was strong enough to see them through the longest drought. A testament to the fact that even in the harshest silence, a single voice, joined by another, can create a symphony of hope. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more tales like this. We love having you here. See you in the next video.